Good morning, everyone. You guys know me. I'm Nancy Ganzikoff, a business coach and body language trainer, and I am here with my marketing guru, Kim Vanderpool from Fresh Impact. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I wish I was with you though, being able to go for a walk on the beach before I get on lives.
Oh my God. Well, this morning wasn't on the beach. I am a little distance from the beach, but we have an incredible 1 mile here in Florida, which is now where I live. For those of you who know me as a New Yorker, I will always be a New Yorker at heart, but now I'm a Floridian also. And we have this 1 mile walking path around a beautiful lake, and there's alligators and birds and all kinds of fun stuff in there. And it's really enjoyable. So yeah, I didn't get in the shower fast enough before we went live. So I hope
Oh,
you
how
don't
awesome.
mind.
How awesome.
My ponytail self.
Well, we walked this morning, but we still had to wear jackets.
Tell everyone where you are, just in case they don't know.
South Dakota. But
South
it
Dakota.
was still nice. Didn't have to have mittens or hats or anything, just a nice little light jacket. So it
All
was
right,
still nice
good,
to be
good,
out.
good. All right. So today's topic I love. I love anything to do with marketing. You know, I'm a marketing crazy person. I'm like, oh, let's try this, let's try that. But this is specifically about how to unlock their Instagram potential and the top 3 barriers to growing their interior design Instagram account. So give us your tips. Let's start
Okay.
us off.
Well, first of all, the top 3 barriers a lot of times are their visual aesthetics. Like, is your brand representing who you are? Are you
Yes.
communicating your brand voice? And then the actual using Instagram to the fullest potential on the way that it's set up. So we'll discuss all of those. The first thing we'll talk about is visual aesthetics. So one key things that everybody can do is choosing a color palette that represents your brand and trying to stick with that when people, so they can start to identify that those are always your types of posts. So like Fresh Impact, we tend to have white background of navy blue, and it tends to be more of a fresher, lighter look. And people will comment and they'll say, I always know it's your post before I even read it or see anything because it's got your brand. For you,
Yes.
your colors are really important, and people can identify your font and the coloring and making sure that that is representative. So if you are so like for me, if I'm a light and airy brand and all of a sudden I do a post with black background, it's going to look off brand for me. It's not going to have that same feel. So making sure that you are using the color palette that is according to your brand colors. And then we like to, I don't, before the 9 grid used to be very, very important. Like whatever
Yes.
you saw on that 9 grid was super important. Well, now it's more authentic, but I still like to look at that grid. And what we like to do is make sure that every 6 or 9 images of our designers have a picture of themselves in that grid. Because that's where a good way to make sure that you stand out, and people love to identify with who you are, and that's the only way they can do that is if they see you.
Right,
So
right. You are your brand. If you are an interior designer, you are your brand, and you
right.
need to put yourself out there here and there.
And so if you're posting 3 times a week, it's once every 2 or 3 weeks is what you
Okay.
is a good guideline for you to use, and that's going to show up. And if you look at your brand, your grid, you can quickly see like, I haven't posted any pictures of myself for the last 5 months. Well, then post a picture of yourself. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a professional. Our phones are so good. Have a team member, a family member, someone take a picture of you from a shot, get a selfie stick, something. You don't have to be uber professional, and you don't always have to face the front. You can design pretend like you're designing a shelf or a pillow or fluffing, like incorporate that into your feed.
A lifestyle shot, as some people call it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then making sure that your brand messaging, the copy and the font and the content that you're using represents who you are as a brand and reflects your design and or life philosophy. So if you are a luxury brand designer, you're going to want to use fonts that are more fancy, more luxury brand look than maybe one that looks like a child that wrote with a crayon.
Right, right.
Yep. So you want to make sure that it represents that. And then your tone, whether you want to use informative on your Instagram, like you're the expert, or are you more like your best friend and you're more conversational? Or are you a designer that has a great sense of humor? Don't be afraid to incorporate that humor inside of those posts.
Share your personality.
Yes. And then telling a story. So it's great where I see a lot of people have success when they're posting is like, this family came to me and they're frustrated because they could not all sit down for breakfast at the kitchen. This is how we solved it as a designer.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
kids needed a place to play and we had a basement that wasn't done. This is how we solved this, and this is why we did it this way. And
Yes.
so telling that story, you're going to capture people way more than just showing a picture.
Yes. Okay.
One of the things that I see on 90% of the audits that I will do for you, for your interior designers, is they don't use a branded hashtag.
Yeah. It's
So,
if people feel self-conscious about it, it's
yep.
so interesting.
But using a branded hashtag is like one of the number ways to identify your brand. And it's just more for brand recognition. People don't think anything of it, but always use a branded hashtag. So if it's,
Give an example.
if you are Mary Smith Design Interiors is your company's name, I would hashtag Mary Smith Design Interiors as a hashtag. And then I would even do, because you're identifying yourself, you're using your name in the name, doing hashtag Mary Smith Interior Designer, hashtag Mary Smith Designer New York. So you're bringing in all the key elements. If somebody was searching for an interior designer in New York, then they would be able to find you. Or if they met you at a networking event and it's like, I remember her first name is Mary Smith, but I don't remember much. And then if they put Mary Smith Interior Designer, chances are they're going to find you quicker because
Right.
of the demographics.
I teach this all the time that I can't believe people don't use hashtags based on location. And now you're saying even one step further, use a hashtag that is branded for your company, your name. This way,
Correct.
if someone's looking you up in the search, they're going to come up with all your posts in one shot and find you immediately.
Correct. Definitely. And then don't be afraid to collaborate with other brands. So say that you are a designer that is helping with a new build or someone that just bought a new house. See if you can't collaborate with the realtor that sold them that house. See if you can't collaborate with the main contractors working or the plumbers or the electricians or the people providing the flooring. Depending on your area, it will depend on if they even have active Instagram accounts, but anytime you can collaborate.
So you're talking about a social media collaboration.
Yes. Yes.
Where they're posting about you, you're hashtagging them or tagging them, they're tagging you. And now you're exposing yourself to their audience and you're exposing them to your audience in order to grow, which is what we're talking about, growing your interior design Instagram account.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially so you think about if an interior designer tags a realtor, and the realtor, like, they love the love. Anybody's going to give them extra. And so who are they going to think of when they are selling another house and someone's saying, oh, I really need to redo this kitchen? He can say, well, I know the interior designer for you.
Right. Give them some love and they'll give you some love back. And hopefully the love you get back equals dollars and a new business. Yeah.
Right. Right.
And new followers, which could turn into, a future client. So it's really important.
Correct. Now, one of the frustrations I'll hear from people is like, well, this is the way Instagram used to be. Well, Instagram has changed. It's not the same as it was a few years ago, but that can be really good news for us because now it's basing on more of a search engine mentality. And so it's easier to get our content in front of the right people.
Yes.
And so some of the keys to do that, and you speak this all the time because I've heard you say it multiple times, is know your niche.
Yes.
And then speak directly to them. So if your niche is middle income families or middle class families, and you are talking to them about redoing their kitchen, speak the language that they're using. And if you're speaking to luxurious brand or luxurious clients, speak the language that they're using. And that way, you know your audience, and then they can understand and relate because we all have different issues depending on where we're at and what kind of designer we're looking for.
I'm going to give an example of that. Pick one person. Not just think of your niche. Think of one person within your niche and talk just to them in your post, thinking of just them. Because if one person had that issue and can relate to it, many more people do. You just didn't realize it, right? So just think of one person when you're making a post, and you'll be talking very specifically and hopefully attract them to you.
Right. And an idea for that, because people always like, what do I post? Is if you're at a family event, you're at some place and someone asks you a question and that would be an ideal question that one of your ideal clients could be asking, put it on notes on your phone. And then when you sit down to
Yes.
do content, you already
Yes.
have these questions to use as a base to go ahead and write that engaging content, because these are the questions people are asking.
Every time you're with a client, any question they ask you could turn into a post in the future. So
Correct.
just sort of tuning into it and paying attention to what people are asking you is key to marketing effectively.
Correct. And then knowing that your followers are all at different stages. So sometimes we are trying to attract new people to follow us, and sometimes we have a big following of 1,000 people already. And so making sure that our content is still attracting the new ones. Yes. But then that you are also nurturing your current audience. And that's why I feel you need to post more than once a week, because it's really hard to create a post all the time that resonates with one or the other. But if you post more than once a week, you're going to hit one or the other with your post.
Gotcha. So nurture your current audience to make sure they stay interested, because they may need you in the future or know someone who needs you.
Right.
But also look to post to attract new followers by using the right type of hashtags and questioning and collaborations and things like that.
Correct. Or even doing some of those get to know me posts once every quarter, like having a picture, get to know me, and this is who I am. And if you feel comfortable sharing more, I have 3 kids, 2 dogs, and I love to hike. Or if you just want to say, I went to XYZ design school, I've been in the field for this many years, I love helping my clients do X. You can do both different approaches, but I would do an about you post every 3 months for sure. And depending on how fast you're growing, if you're growing really fast, then I would go every 2 months, because you're having new people that still, and your old people still want to get to know you. Because like, oh yeah, I remember Nancy likes to go for her walk every morning.
Right. Yeah, I posted in my stories this morning. So like with John and I and our view of our morning walk. And I try to do that once in a while, but it's hard for me to even remember. Sometimes I have to remember that I need to take pictures in my path on the way in my life, so I have something to post.
Right. And sometimes, to be honest, we all get tired because we're supposed to be doing this. Right. And there's that balance. But that leads us to my next thing is the number one question I get is, how often should I post? And so again, this leads to your goals on Instagram. What is it? How does that play into your overall marketing strategy? Instagram can't be your only marketing strategy. Like you need to have other things, networking, however you want to do it. There's a plethora of things they can get your
we teach them all in our academy how to get out there from behind your phone.
Resources. We're not going to talk about that, but Instagram, it's a tool for your business.
Yes.
And it's a tool for your marketing. So just gotta discover like what is that goal for Instagram? If it's just to make sale, that's a long game. It's going to be, you're going to be disappointed if like I'm going to post for a month every day and then I want to get a new client.
Get a new client, right?
Yeah. There's reality in there, and it's going to take, that would be great. But the reality is that people go to Instagram. It's a social media platform, and they want to be inspired, encouraged, educated, build that connection, that know, like, and trust with you. That's the important part.
Yes.
And then ask yourself, how many resources or how much time do you have to commit to Instagram? If you are busy and overwhelmed and overworked already, is it realistic to think that I can post to Instagram once? I have an hour a day to spend on Instagram? Probably not. I would encourage you, if you could, to spend 15 minutes a day engaging, because that's going to increase your reach. It's going to increase your likability. It's just going to increase your efforts into Instagram.
Right.
We had someone that was in the Get It Done Club, and my heart broke because it took 8 hours for her to make one reel.
Oh.
And so if it's taking you that long, you have to really ask yourself, was that real? What was the reel for? I mean, if it's one you can use on all multiple platforms and over, that's one thing. But understanding the time that it takes to put and getting educated on how can I do this quicker to still have that same effect and it still be representative of my brand. And so knowing exactly what your goal is, even if you have the best idea for a reel, if you're working into it and it's 5 hours down, like, is this really worth the effort that it's taking? So
no, but it could be someone who's just trying to learn it so they get, like you say, get better at it. But 8 hours, I would have bailed on that after 20 minutes.
Right. Well, and too, when we get on Instagram and we see all these Instagram influencers and they have, well, this hack will do this, and then you can do this and you can do this. It gets very overwhelming really quickly. So what I recommend is if you like that, if you like to kind of know how to put picture in picture and do all those fancy things on Instagram, pick one hack a week. Don't try to implement all of them or it's just going to take too long. And your focus is that you want to have Instagram showcase your business, build that know, like, and trust so that you get more customers. So you're busy. Like that's the ultimate goal. So,
okay.
One thing that we talk about a lot is hashtags, and hashtags have there's a lot of mixed messages right now on hashtags. We test to see if they work. Sometimes some of our clients, the 30 of them work, sometimes 7 works, sometimes none work. The biggest overall message from Instagram is using keywords. And so when you are writing your captions, making sure that you put in, instead of saying, isn't this a beautiful design? Say, isn't this kitchen a beautiful design? Like putting in those keywords. And then that shows Instagram, it begins to develop your category of who you are. And so when people are looking for kitchen interior design, and if you're continually using those keywords, then you're going to go up on that algorithm. So they're going to be able to find you.
So I always recommend put in your phone notes, your 10 standard hashtags that you use every time, right? Yes. So like you said, Mary Smith, interior design, New York, or Mary Smith, interior design, hashtag interior design, New York, Mary Smith. However, these are ones you're going to use every time. If you're starting to use from your first tip, which was branded hashtags, you can have them in your notes on your phone. So you can just copy and paste, and then you can add more based on the specific post itself to be descriptive more of what you're showing. Correct.
And so saying, if you're looking for an interior designer in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I'm your girl type thing. So if you can do it, but you want them to do it so you're not spammy, but yet still trying to get those keywords whenever you can in those captions. And then showing up consistently. That is probably like the biggest thing. So if you can be consistent, because you wouldn't recommend someone that makes cupcakes if they're never consistent with making, like, oh yeah, they'll make cupcakes today, but maybe not for another 5 weeks. And that's the same thing that shows up with Instagram. Is there Instagram's algorithm wants to trust you. And so if it's once a week that all you can do, then commit to that once a week.
I'm going to point out something else that I find. If you can't run your social media consistently and fairly well, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not a perfectionist kind of coach or person, but if you can't consistently figure out how to post 2 or 3 times a week, and that's your plan, your clients, potential clients, are going to go, she can't even keep up with her Instagram, or he can't even keep up with his Instagram. Like, how does he keep up with his business? Like, it could be a reflection on how organized you are or how much you are dedicated to your business. It could be a reflection for some people of what they see on your social media.
Right. And then if you haven't shown up for a month or 2, people wonder if you're even in business anymore.
Correct. It's that fast in this day and age. If you haven't posted in a month or 2, if they look at your Instagram, they're going to be like, I don't know. They don't seem to be active.
Right. And then when it comes to posting, make sure that you use a hook in your first line. Like, why would people want to read this post? And then give them something to do with a call to action. 90% of the posts that I'll look at, like, people say, well, can you audit my Instagram? And it's like, okay, you have this beautiful kitchen, but what do you want me to do with it? Do you want me to be inspired or whatever? So really quickly, a couple just call to actions you could do is you could say, tap save for endless inspiration.
Ooh, I like that.
They would be able to do that. Comment, if you did like a story, comment your dream room below, or see the link in bio for more design magic. So then they would go to your website. DM us for exclusive design tips. So then you're getting them to do something. Subscribe for weekly or monthly design tips. So then you send them to your email. So you want them to do something with that. Or what would you like if you could change anything in this kitchen? What would you do? Something like that. So you give them something to do.
Yes. Call to action of some kind.
Right. A call to action. And then making sure that you engage authentically. So when people leave comments, leave a comment back, maybe go to their profile and comment on their post. That is, again, building that know, like, and trust.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, I think that's it. You know, making
That's a
sure
lot of tips. If you guys are coming on late, go back to the beginning. Go to my YouTube channel, follow or whatever they do on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube, and you can have a whole playlist of all of Kim's marketing tips. But I think the greatest thing that you offer, besides full service, handle your social media from beginning to end, is that Get It Done Club. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, the Get It Done Club marketing club is like having a social media manager in your back pocket. So we have open office hours a few times a week where we hop on Zoom, answer any of your marketing questions, help you with your marketing strategy, show you how to do reels on Canva, anything that you may need to know on marketing. And then we have a whole library of different trainings and different resources, templates, planners, all those kind of things available.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's
we
amazing.
just want to make it so that you can do your marketing with confidence. And we want you to hit the easy button. That's
yes. And it makes it easy because you also give them a system to be able to post across platforms. You help them clean up if they need it. You've got all kinds of services once they're in the Get It Done Club to get it done every week consistently.
Yes. However they want to do it, and we're no pressure. Like if you say you only want to post once a week, I will help you just make sure that you get one post a week done, but we're going to make sure we get that one done. So
right. And you're there to tell them, but you should be doing 3 if you want to do this, and you should be 1 is fine if your goal is that. Like you're there in the background answering all their questions.
Correct. And then we do provide email support during the week if they get stuck and like, hey, can you just look at this reel and tell me, like, should I send it or not? And I can say, it's gorgeous. Or, hey, I would change this because this is how the message is. So, yeah.
The confidence boost people need sometimes to just press post.
Yes. It's scary especially when you're first starting out. It can be very frightening, but
it can be intimidating.
Yes.
But really, as I just spoke to somebody who came into my Profit Insider Academy group starting in May, I'm here to keep you confident that what you're doing is going to work and that you can do it, right? That accountability and the confidence and not being in it alone, sitting at their desk alone, overthinking, should I post this? Should I not? You can help them with that by going, do it.
Yep. We had someone join the club. When she joined, she wouldn't even put her Zoom call on. It was black screen because she was so timid and afraid. But we got her over the hump. She's been posting consistently. And she used to show up for club a couple times a week. Now I haven't seen her in a week or two because she's too busy. So
yes. Oh, see that? See how that happens? So, all right. Tell them how to find you and how to find the Get It Done Club.
We have a link on our website and it's just freshimpactllc.com and you'll be able to do that or find us on our socials and message me and I'll get you the link.
Okay, so above your head, we put freshimpactsocialmedia.com. Does that work
as well? Both places.
Okay, awesome. I want to make sure we didn't have the wrong post there. So listen, everybody, posting on social media, depending on what age you are, is either easy or not, depending on whether you're more of an introvert or an extrovert, whether you've seen, I'm going to say whether you've seen business come in through your Instagram or not, also helps you either love it or hate it. But, you know, Kim is here to tell you it works in many different ways, how to grow your brand, to grow your pipeline, depending on what you want to do. She's here to help you do it. So go over to freshimpactsocialmedia.com, check out the Get It Done Club and all of the other services that Kim provides because her team is phenomenal to get you going and get you over the hump with your, I'll call it social media anxiety.
Yes.
All right. So thank you, Kim. And we'll see you next month for more tips.
All right. Thank you.
Everybody go have a great day and I'll see you soon. Bye.